The adaptive immune system. Macrophages are cells that detects and destroys antigens. The macrophage engulfs any pathogens that they come across. The pathogen is then broken down by lysosomes. The macrophage then becomes an antigen-presenting macrophage, with antigens being displayed on the T cell receptors. B cells. Pathogens move inside the B cell. This causes the B cell to become infected and become an antigen-presenting cell. Humoral immunity. Humoral immunity begins with both the B cell and helper T cell activating. Once the B cell encounters its matching antigen, the T cell then engulfs the antigen and displays antigen fragments to attract a matching T cell. The B cell then splits into a memory B cell and a plasma B cell. The memory B cell remains in the blood and lymph to respond quickly to future infections. The plasma B cell, however, then mass produces itself and secretes lots of antibodies at a rate of 2,000 per second. The antibodies released into the blood lock onto matching antigens and pathogens, causing them to become inactivated and marked for destruction by phagocytes. Cell-mediated immunity. Cell-mediated immunity begins with the helper T cell activating, and then releasing the chemical interleukin-1. The helper T cell then splits into a memory T cell and a cytotoxic T cell. The memory T cell clones themselves and remains in the blood and lymph and stores memory of how to deal with similar pathogens. The cytotoxic T cell, specific for antigens, is produced and begins to bind to the infected cells. The cytotoxic cells release the cytokines to stimulate cell apoptosis, which cause these infected cells to die off. Poliomyelitis. Poliomyelitis is a highly contagious disease that became an epidemic within the United States. It is caused by the poliovirus, which once inside the body attacks the host's nervous system. Reasons to why polio became a disease is because of the poor hygiene standards in the 1900s. Also because since the virus attacks the nervous system, there was no real symptoms that stood out immediately, meaning that people at the time who were infected could have spread the disease to more people unknowingly. Once the poliovirus enters the human body through contact with infected feces or contact with an infected person, it moves to the throat and intestine tract, where it multiplies itself and is then absorbed into the blood-lymph system. Within the blood-lymph system, the poliovirus spreads itself throughout its host's body, looking for nerve cells to attack, which are found within the brain and the spinal cord. Once the poliovirus has invaded the nervous system in search of nerve cells, it begins to multiply and begins to destroy motor neurons, which are unable to regenerate, and causes the muscles to lose their function, causing paralysis. Vaccinations. There are two types of vaccinations: live attenuated vaccine, also known as OPV, and inactive vaccine, also known as IPV. Live attenuated vaccination. Live attenuated vaccination is a weakened form of pathogen. However, it is still able to cause an infection and is able to replicate itself within the host. However, this is not noticeable. Live attenuated vaccination comes with a risk of causing vaccine-associated paralytic polio, also known as VAPP, which may occur within vaccine recipients or their contacts. Yet the overall risk is estimated to be 1 case per 2.5 million, and in addition, produces a long-lasting immunity to the disease. Inactivated vaccine. Inactivated vaccines contain pathogens. However, these pathogens are unable to replicate themselves. The pathogens or antigens contained within the vaccine can also come in different forms, like the inactivated whole agent vaccine, which contains killed microorganisms or inactivated viruses. The other form of vaccine contains modified parts of viruses or bacteria, such as viral coats or parts of a cell membrane or an inactivated toxin. The herd immunity. The herd immunity is a form of protection given to individuals in a population, both vaccinated and unvaccinated, against infectious diseases when a significant proportion of the population has been vaccinated. The herd immunity works by limiting the amount of contact unvaccinated people have with the infected, which essentially protects the unvaccinated individuals from the disease until it passes. Effectiveness of vaccinations. Before vaccinations were introduced, there was no cure for the polio disease, and the doctors could only treat the symptoms, which was no hope, and the cases of polio remained the same. However, after the introduction of the vaccination, there was a dramatic 99% decrease in all cases regarding polio. With the introduction of the vaccination for polio, polio has vanished as a serious public health issue and has freed 3 regions from the polio disease. Thus, vaccinations are super effective in preventing the spread of diseases.